Passions will set you free on distant moons where the mind can't see. Look to the one you love and it will be alright. Look to the one you love and it will be alright. If by chance your world starts to sway, helping hands are now on their way. Broken tears that once felt like rain drift away as you dream again. Look to the one you love and it will be alright. Look to the one you love and it will be alright. Look to the one you love. Look to the one you love. Look to the one you love and it will be alright. Look to the one you love. Look to the one you love. Look to the one you love and it will be alright. All my life I've been waiting for peace on earth and forevermore.
That's a nice song, that, isn't it? That's by the Vals. It's called Look to the One, featuring the guitar of Henry McCullough. The experts out there will recognise that right away. Number ring if you want to contact this program. Sorry, excuse me, I'm leaving out words in a sentence. The number to ring if you want to contact this program is 08459 555 678. The email address is jerry.anderson@bbc.co.uk and the text messaging service is 81771. A lot of abuse coming in here today. I'll deal with it right away. Concerned Mr. Coyle, I have no idea why he's not here. Why abuse a man when he's not here? Well, why not? This abuse I must read out with the greatest of pleasure. Dear Gerry of the Creaky Seat. I think they changed the seat. I had that creaky seat yesterday. Has Mr. Coyle gone for his interview for his new job? No, he hasn't. No, he's decided to stay, but he feels as if he's under pressure and needed a break. He's sitting at home in a darkened room, looking out the window, twitching the curtains and shouting at the neighbours. He's the right age for a patrol man and has the gurney bake for it. I think that's a cruel thing to say, but I enjoyed it. Sean Coyle has been dead for years. They forgot to bury him. That's cruel. That show band song that you played the other day sounds like P.P. Slaggart, who in turn sounds like Sean Coyle in disguise. That's a cruel. Now leave him alone. I'm enjoying this. It's great. Please say hello to your big fan, the Foot Tapping Welder. Good morning, Foot Tapping Welder. And a gentleman writes to me and he said, why is Radio Ulster, Mr. Nolan, therefore kindly mentioned earlier on that the Radio Ulster figures have improved greatly, as indeed they do every quarter. But he only talks about his own show. As an act of fact, he should talk about the station. He doesn't care about the station. He only cares about his own show. And trumpeting the fact that his own show does better than any other show, which causes great disappointment to me. But he says, why does Radio Ulster between 1:30 and 5 o'clock sound so happy? Well, the reason why it sounds so happy is because Hugo and Alan Simpson are very happy people. No matter if they're not happy at all, they will pretend to be happy. Whereas I, on the other hand, and Nolan, on the other hand, are miserable gits, and we will continue to be so as long as we're allowed to. I played a song the other... No, hold on a second. I just want to tell you about something. I did an interview yesterday, which a lot of people seem to like, with Philomena Linnet. And I tried to play a song by Phil Linnet called Sarah. It didn't play, and I don't know why it didn't play, but I promised I'd play it today. Let's see if it plays today. There it goes. I tried 3 times to play that yesterday and it wouldn't work. And suddenly it works today. Why is this? What have I done differently except wipe the CD in my jumper?
When you came in my life, you changed my world, my Sarah. Everything seems so right, my baby girl, my Sarah. You are all I want to know. You hold my heart, so don't let go. You are all I need to live. My love to you I'll give. My Sarah. When you begin to smile, you change my style, my Sarah. When I look in your eyes, I see my prize, my Sarah. You are all I want to know. You hold my heart, so don't let go. You are all I need to live. My love to you I'll give. You are all I want to know. Oh, my Sarah. Don't let go. Oh, my Sarah. You are all I want to know. You hold my heart, so don't let go. You are all I need to live. My love to you I'll always give. You are all I want to know. You hold my heart, so don't let go. You are all I want to know. Oh, my Sarah. Yes, you changed my style with your baby smile, Sarah. Childlike charms keep me warm. I hold you in my arms, Sarah. Change my world, my baby girl, Sarah. All I want to know.
That's Phil Lynott, of course, as his mum said yesterday. He always wanted to be called Phil Lynott, but nobody ever called him that. They always called him Phil Lynott. That's Sarah. Here's 2 contrasting views on the music heard in this programme. Gerry, your choice in music is getting worse. Some of it I have never heard in my life, which begs the question, do these artists record their songs solely for your purpose? Loretta in Bangor. Well, Loretta, the key is when you say some of it I have never heard in my life. That's why I play it, because none of you have ever heard it in your life. Therefore, if you hear something you never heard before in your life, you might like it and say, oh, there's a new thing, instead of listening to Westlife all the time and those other people. And another one said, Gerry, where can I get by Zoline, record of Antrim Coast Road, Tell Her So, Ring In, and obviously a person who's never been to school much. Available in McCormick's. Why did they not call your granddaughter Anne? I don't know. I can't think why. Gerry, you surprised me with that brilliant piece of Scotch stuff with a gentleman called Mervyn Bennett. Martin Bennett, is it? I've got some information about him upstairs, which I meant to bring down, but of course I left on the desk. When I play the next record, I shall rush up and retrieve it. Hello to the girls who used to work in the Bairnsware factory in Armagh. The factory has since closed, like many other factories, but they meet up every Wednesday for a catch-up. Also, happy birthday to Jean, one of the gang. Please play Grandma's Rock and Roll. Never heard of it. Hello, Mr. Anderson, how are you, says Charlene. My friends and I listen to your show every day. Well, the days that you're there. When Sean talks, we tune out. Oh, that's cruel. I'm not going to read any more, even though I enjoy it. We have a soft spot for all things Gerry, and go as far as to name our quiz team according to topics what you speak about. For example, last week our team was called "Have You an Engine for a Honda 80?" That's the kind of folks we are. When we aren't listening to your voice and down the pub quizzing, we like to, as the man says, rock out. Now, rock music, that's something we're good at. We even have our own rock festival every year called Coolstock, and they want me to tell you about it. Coolstock is a hard rock festival ran since 2006, officially called Coolstock from 2007. Over the years, many great bands made a lot of friends in the world of rock. All Coolstock festivals have been charity-based. Each year we pick a different cancer charity to raise money for. This year we intend to help a very special little girl called Cassie McGeehan. Cassie is currently undergoing extensive chemotherapy after an operation to remove a brain tumour. She's 2 years old. In the event that her current treatment is unsuccessful, further treatment is available, but not in this country. And they have to raise a lot of money. This year's lineup for Coolstock in aid of little Cassie is King's Call, Iron Maiden, Bonfire, Sinner Falls and Voodoo Train. It's on the last bank holiday of the summer, August the 28th, from 5 p.m. until late. Well, Charlene, you give me a ring and we'll talk about that near the time. And we'll make sure that the people know about this because we have to help that wee girl. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Gerry.
It's great the way the phones work and everything. It's great. See, normally each programme, the first phone call that I always take doesn't work, you see, because Sean doesn't know how to work it. And then Emma has to lean over and put her finger on it. But see, Emma's there now and she puts her finger on it before I even touch it. Hello, good morning.
Well, I was just saying about those, Nolan was going on about the radio figures. They're probably affected by me because I would switch his show on, but the only reason I switch it on is so I won't forget to turn the radio on to hear yours.
Well, you see, that's a noble motive, I have to say. You see, well, what Nolan does, I think there's a word for it whenever he talks about radio figures. I think the word is, I'm searching for it, crow. He crows about the radio figures. You see, do you know this concept which has long been forgotten? It's called modesty. You know, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that. See, whenever he does, not like me, but whenever he does something that is good, he must tell everyone about it and go to the rooftops and scream it in case people.
But everybody screams at his show because they scream at each other. I call it the Goldering semi-literates.
Well, I think that's a fairly accurate description, although I wouldn't put that description on any one particular person. I think, as a generality, that succeeds, as far as I'm concerned.
I have a soft spot for him. It's in a bog in Fermanagh.
Oh, stop it. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that. People will be suing you. Anyway, what do you want, anyway, apart from you want to...
That was all, just to tell you that.
Just to annoy him?
Aye.
Well, let's annoy him a little more. What is it you don't like about him? Is it because he's...
Nothing, it's just...
evil?
It's the show. They golder at each other. And also some of them, they can't even speak the Queen's English.
Well, you see, neither can many of us.
I never had it near where I went, you know.
Now, stop that. You're making fun of people's accents. Now, there's no need for that.
I'm making fun of their grammar.
Now, you see, what has happened, you see, we have been...
The Christies.
No, but you see, what has happened, you see, Nolan Shaw, and maybe I shouldn't talk about this, but I have theories about it. You see, what happened was we had troubles for many, many years, right? And serious troubles, of course, and people were killed, that kind of thing. But it actually changed people's attitude. People became very gurney because they had a lot of things to complain about. And genuine things to complain about, and indeed many, many beefs to be aired. So it became the thing to do to go on the radio, and God rest him, David Dunseith was the man who facilitated most of it. So everybody went on and gurned and gurned and gurned. So everybody whinged about everything all the time, and then the trouble stopped. So the people are sitting at home saying, "Just boys, there's much to gurn about." And people missed the gurney, you see, and then along comes the fat boy, and he makes them gurn about, about rubbish collection, everything. So with the same intensity as people used to rage and rant about what was going on, serious things going on in the street. It's an element of our nature, I think. We've got used to gurning and complaining and screaming and whinging, and it's about flags or it's about rubbish collection or dogs crapping in the street. We have to do it all the time, and Nolan, he realises this. He's the vehicle, he's the vessel through which it all flows. So would you agree with any of that?
A vessel bigger than the Titanic.
A big vessel. But the only thing about Nolan is, and I know this to be a fact, the only difference between him and the Titanic is that Nolan is unsinkable. And I know this for a fact. He can never be sunk. Anyway, if you're not going to abuse him, I'll have to get rid of you.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
I've been urged to play another song by one of my favourite bands. These are one of the most dynamic bands ever come out of Northern Ireland. It'll probably frighten the horses, and a lot of people won't like this, but I love it. They're called Gascan Ruckus. They're only a bunch of schoolboys, but have a listen to this. Will he make it?
Now I gotta get some more action. I'm not sleeping at any road age. I'm tired of those old drinking days and working at night to get paid. Now I don't wanna hear you crying or calling out my name. Say you get no help from me anyway. 'Cause I'm on the road to freedom. Now I gotta hold back now today. I'm on the road to freedom. Now I gotta hold back now. Now I gotta hold back now. Yeah.
That's Gascan Ruckus, The Road to Freedom. The drummer is now in intensive care. You get the feeling that kind of, he's wondering what's happening. Hello, good morning. But what energy. What energy that band has. Fantastic. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Gerry. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. Who's this?
My name is Maliki.
Okay, Maliki, what can we do for you today? And I should have to stop saying that because any time anybody comes on the phone, I always ask them what they can do, what I can do for them today, and it doesn't really make any sense because I mightn't be able to do anything for you. I'll just say hello and what do you want?
Good morning,
Good morning. What do you want?
Gerry. I have been asked to pass on the thanks of a group of Americans that you spoke to last week.
Oh, really? Oh, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Was that I met in the foyer of the Europa Hotel?
That's the ones.
Oh, yeah. And were you the gentleman who was with them?
Well, I don't know about the word gentleman, but I was with them. Yeah,
Yeah, you were the gentleman who was with them. What a nice bunch of people. Where were they from?
they were from Illinois.
And what did they think? I always wonder what people think of us here when they come. What did they think of Belfast, Northern Ireland?
Oh, they loved Belfast.
What was
they
it?
really did.
What was it they liked about it? They all just say. I've always thought that one of the things that Belfast has going for it, and particularly Belfast, because it's a big city. Because you know what happened in Dublin, it became very blasé and everybody became horrible, and that hasn't happened to Belfast yet. It'll probably happen in about 5 or 10 years time. But now everybody, the people who work in pubs, people who work in bars and hotels, they're all Belfast people and they're all full of crack, and and the people sense that because they're not used to it anywhere else. Do you think that's part of it?
They do prefer Northern Ireland to the south of Ireland, and again, as you say, it's probably because of the fact that I put it into them that the people here are much friendlier than the people in the south, because it's only in recent years that people have started to visit us, so we love everyone.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. And maybe that'll wear off in about 5 or 10 years' time. We'll become like the people in Dublin and be hateful.
Well, a lot of them come with preconceived ideas about Derry and Belfast.
Yeah.
And that's where we had been that morning, and that's how they got to know about you, because I had said to them that it was Derry and it was Londonderry, and that a local radio presenter had christened it Stroke City. And
That's
then, of course,
right, yeah.
we were fortunate enough to meet yourself
That's
on
right.
Thursday evening.
Yeah, I was lying in the bar, slumped over the table. And he said, there he is over there, let's try and bring him round a bit. Then he slapped me in the face and I came round and I was able to speak after about a half an hour.
They thought you were extremely approachable. Now, the fact that someone spoke to you and you come over and spoke to them, so...
Oh, they were
very
lovely.
grateful.
They were lovely. And the same thing applies to Derry as well. I shouldn't leave Derry. The only reason I mentioned Belfast because it's a big city and comparable to Dublin. And that's the only two places I can compare of similar size. Derry's different because Derry has always been a stranger's town. Derry has always been full of strangers, and they've always treated strangers very well, and they're always very friendly towards strangers. So nothing really different has happened there. But Belfast is a different kettle of fish entirely.
But
entirely.
they had a walking guide up in Derry. You would know him all right. He calls himself the only Buddhist guide in Ireland.
That's right. There's very few Buddhist guides in Derry, but I think you could pick him out.
Yeah.
He's great, though.
thoroughly enjoyed
What's his name? Martin somebody? He's not, no, not Martin McCrossman.
Ronan.
There's another name. Ronan, that's his name. Very nice guy. Very informative and very entertaining.
Oh, there's two up there that I know, Ronan and Martin, and the both of them are, as you say, both very informative and entertaining.
Oh, yes, they love it. But there's a...
And I have to mention Ken in Belfast as well.
Is he there tugging your trousers, is he? Well, do you do this for a living? Is that what you do? You're a tour guide? Is that what you do? Or do you...
Yeah, it's a seasonal job from April through October, so it's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Well, you seem to enjoy it anyway, and you seem to get a genuine buzz from it.
Oh, yeah.
I think I would enjoy that too, but, is the repetition, I mean, that obviously must get to, or is everybody different? I mean, you've obviously got a certain amount of information you pass on to people, but I suppose it depends on how they react to it. I suppose that
Yeah, they do come with a fairly naive sense of humour, but after a fortnight, that changes ever so slightly.
Yeah. Well, you see, they believe what they read in the papers and that kind of thing, which is never a good idea.
This
is
is the preconceived ideas as well. So
the
were in
greatest...
Scotland too on the west coast, and they loved it, but they did prefer Belfast.
The greatest story I ever heard about something that would be thought unthinkable was the actor Mickey Rourke, who's now made a great comeback in The Wrestler and all those movies. When he was a younger man, he came to do a film here called Prayer for the Dying. And it was about the Troubles and that kind of thing. And he was going to play some kind of IRA guy or some Provo, whatever it was, or some, I don't know what it was. And he was been brought around to Belfast by his voice coach, a fellow called Brendan Gunn, I think his name was. And he was the guy who taught him the Belfast accent. And he read a wee bit about Northern Ireland. So they brought him up the Falls and they brought him up the Shankill, that kind of thing. You see, and then when they brought him up the Shankill, he seen all the Union Jacks. And he said, is this where the army live? And the fellow said, no. He said, well, what are all the Union Jacks? I said, well, there's these people, they're called them Protestants, they're loyal. He says, well, who are they? He thought it was all these Catholics fighting the army. You see, and there was nobody else. He said, I had to sit him down and talk to him.
I'm going to burst your bubble now, Gerry. That's a little pet hate of mine, the Union Jack. The Union Jack can only be called that when it's on a naval ship at sea. It's the Union flag.
Well, I stand corrected. I didn't know that, really. It's the Union flag.
Corrected.
Well, listen, what do you do? I mean, are you working on a kind of a freelance basis, or can anyone ring you up and kind of, employ your services?
I work for a company that subcontracts to one of the bigger tour companies in Ireland.
Well, you're doing a great job, because I watched you for a little while and you're full of crack, and the Americans loved you. Americans tend to be quite quiet, don't they?
They do, that's what I say. They've a slight sense of humour, but that changes. But all of the guys that I work with are the same. They come across and the people think that the Irish are brilliant, and that's both from the Republic and from the North.
Well, you see, if you've got any kind of a personality at all, I mean, the Americans aren't used to that. Because, I mean, I think Americans are quite quiet. They've got the reputation of being noisy. Now, for instance, you know this yourself. If you ever go to the continent or somewhere like that, or Italy or France or Spain, and there's an American on the beach, he's talking to his wife or whatever, and he's bawling his head off. He's roaring. And people are saying, why do they have to talk so loud? And I think the reason why they talk so loud is because they want to reassure themselves that everything's okay. They're actually quite shy behind it all.
Are.
But when you get them in a bunch, like you had the other day, they were very timid and very quiet and very self-conscious in a way, and then you have to winkle them out of their shell, don't you?
Well, that's when happens.
And, well, how long does it take you to winkle them out of their shell?
It depends, believe it or not. The bigger groups, a few weeks back, I had a group of more than 50, and within 3 or 4 days, they had gelled together tremendously.
Mm-hmm. So do you do that on a daily basis, or do you kind of maybe do that 2 or 3 times a day, or once every couple of days, or what?
Oh, no, the tours would last for anything up to 2 weeks. I've just finished a 13-day one. That one that I was on was 13 days.
Okay. Well, listen, we've got your number. If anybody's interested in having a chat to you about that, we can't really advertise in the BBC. I was going to ask you what firm you work for, but, we can't really do that. So if, I know you don't expect me to do that, but if anybody's interested in what you're doing...
All I'd say is Chorus Umper Erin.
Chorus Umper Erin?
Yeah.
CIE!
No.
What do you think, I am illiterate? All right then. Chorus Umper Erin. That sounds like Chorus Umper Erin. That sounds like something you'd shout at a Gaelic match, isn't it? Up Tyrone, Chorus Umper Erin.
Can I go now?
What?
Can I go now?
Of course you can. Away you go.
Thanks, Gerry.
Goodbye. A pair of gold-rimmed glasses have been found last Thursday on a picnic table near the Twin Lakes at Gorchin. Now, there's an exciting piece of information. And a gentleman said, writes to me, and he said, police say a man walked into a Botox clinic and stole a sum of money there recently in the Belfast area. There must have been many people who saw that, but apparently nobody batted an eyelid. Get it? Gerry, you have a great taste in your fondness. You have great taste in your fondness for Warren Point, and especially the idyllic village of Rostrevor. Spending holidays there as a child were the happiest years of my life. And I owe a great debt to my mum for introducing me to heaven on earth. Have you been for a walk up the Fairy Glen? Yes, the Fairy Glen and I are one. That's Larkin from West Belfast. Thank you. We'll be back after the news.
On 92 to 95 FM
and 1341 medium wave.
This is BBC Radio Ulster.
At the news desk at 11 o'clock, this is Sabrina Sweeney. There's been strong criticism of a Facebook site which claims the PSNI is harassing Irish Republicans. The newsletter has reported that the site encourages members to post details of police officers and operations across Northern Ireland. Ulster Unionist MLA Ross Hussey says he wants action taken to stop people posting details of police operations across Northern Ireland.
I hope that, number one, that the police investigate who set the website up and look at possible prosecution, because we have to look at the safety of police officers, which I think is paramount. Secondly, I think those that have provided information to the site should be cautioned, bearing in mind the information they provide could lead to the loss of life of a police officer. If people have a complaint against the police, there is the police ombudsman.
The partner of Republican prisoner Brendan Lillis has again called for his release from prison. Lillis, who's serving a life sentence, suffers from a severe arthritic condition. Parole commissioners have ruled that he will not be freed on compassionate grounds. Roisin Lynch says she fears he will die.
My partner's not fit to go to trial to be found guilty of anything, so logic would tell you have to work on the presumption of innocence first. But I think we've went way past all this. We're on the humanitarian side of this now. We're not talking about freeing Brendan Lillis, we're talking about saving Brendan Lillis.
A 58-year-old man has been arrested in Craigavon following the seizure of counterfeit currency and ammunition. Approximately 400 rounds of ammunition were found when a vehicle was searched in Lake Road yesterday afternoon. 13 firearms were seized during a further search of a house in Portadown. A suspected firearm has been found in Londonderry during police searches in Spring Hill Road. Army technical officers attended the scene and the item was removed for forensic examination. Now with the sports news, here's Denise Watson.
Rory McIlroy has said he's weighing up his options as to whether he'll rejoin the US PGA Tour next season. The Hollywood golfer tees off at the WGC Bridgestone Invitational in Ohio later today, as do Graeme McDowell and Darren Clarke, who's out with Tiger Woods. Dermot McIlroy is the best of our golfers at the European Amateur Championship. He's 3 under for the event, that's 5 shots off the lead. Alan Dunbar is now 1 over par after 15 holes, 5 over for today, and Paul Cutler is 2 under after 9 holes played. Carlos Tevez will be missing when Manchester City play Manchester United in Sunday's Community Shield after his club granted him an extended break. And the chief executive of the Scottish Premier League says Rangers' failure to reach the Champions League group stages will impact on the whole of the SPL.
And now the weather details with Elizabeth Austin.
Hello there. We'll continue to see outbreaks of light patchy rain through the rest of the morning into the early afternoon, and then behind that front it will be a dry and brighter picture with the risk of 1 or 2 showers, and these could be heavy over Tyrone and Armagh. Highs today 19 or 20 degrees Celsius, that's 68 in Fahrenheit. We will see 1 or 2 bright spells, perhaps even some sunshine through the afternoon. Into tonight, any showers will clear. It'll be a cloudy night but dry, with lows dipping to 12 or 13 degrees Celsius.
BBC News.
BBC Radio Ulster. Travel news.
In Belfast, the collision on York Link at Nelson Street has been cleared and traffic is moving well in and around the city. Looking ahead to this evening, and the British Transplant Games are taking place in Belfast. As part of the official opening, around 600 special athletes and supporters will parade from Belfast City Hall to Belfast Waterfront Hall at 6:30. Motorists should expect disruption around City Hall, Howard Street, Victoria Street and Oxford Street until about 7. And at Belfast International Airport, the 25 to 5 flight from Palma is expected at 5:15. Aileen Morna reporting.
Travel news on BBC Radio Ulster.
On Talkback with Wendy Austin today, should a sinister Facebook site which posts photos of police officers and operations be shut down? Speaking of the internet, do you love it or hate it? Are you determined not to use Facebook, Twitter or email? Or can you not get out of bed without tagging yourself to your friends? And 4 children in Dungannon left at home alone while their parents are on holiday. What's going on there? We'll find out. Illegal car washes? Sammy says he's going to sort them out. And Bono's painting his toenails. Should all fellas do the same? What colour? With or without sparkle? Your calls on that. 08459 555 678 and join the debate on Talkback at 12.
I still dream of walking on. I wake up crying. You're making rain, and you're just in reach. When you in sleep escape me.
My shift starts at 10, I gotta make it on time. I'm building a dream, I gotta keep it alive. As I'm driving downtown, got the radio playing. Our song comes on and it started me thinking, baby, you're the only thing in my world that's right. I'm working on a dream, I gotta keep it alive. Well, this job ain't the best and my boss is a jerk. He can rob me every day if he likes. Well, he can jump on my day from Monday to Friday, as long as that chick doesn't bite. I'll be dancing with my blue-eyed baby on a Saturday night. Well, I've been working in this dungeon 5 nights straight. It's taking its toll, I need a vacation. Well, the boss will need a crowbar to take a smile off my face. Just 2 more hours to go and I'll be out of this place. Well, tonight I'm dressing up, I'm gonna do it in style. I'll pick my baby up, we'll cruise the Miracle Mile. Well, once the rich kids as they come in from the upside of town, in their $50,000 graduation around. Well, they can look down the nose at my busted out folk. They can laugh and make fun of my jokes. Well, there's some things in my life that money can't buy. What they get to spend a night in your arms. I'll be dancing with my blue-eyed baby on Saturday. Well, lately I've been trying to put some money aside, get a decent set of wheels and take my baby to drive. Living on the east side ain't no fun anymore. Maybe we could get a little place of our own. Well, I guess that I'm lucky to be working it all. In the papers today and the factory's closed. And my best friend got laid out there before Christmas Eve. He gotta get by with a wife and a kid. Well, where will we be when it happens to me? Do you think that, baby, we could survive? With the love that you gave me, I know you can save me. As long as I got love in his eyes, I'll be dancing with my blue-eyed baby on a Saturday night.
That's Dermot O'Connor from an album called Gravity, and I played a couple of tracks from that over the past few days. He's causing quite a stir. Dermot O'Connor, Gravity, that's a song called Blue Eyed Baby, and there's a website address for him. People were very engaged in trying to find it where they can contact him. It's O'Connor Dermot, O'Connor, no punctuation of any kind. O'Connor Dermot, DERMOT, at yahoo.co.uk if you want to perhaps buy that CD. It's very good. Women love that. How do I know? I can sense it. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Okay, thanks.
Right. I just wanted to tell you about my first wee car.
Your first wee car?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a wee Volkswagen.
Yes.
It was, the wee 6-volt battery.
That's right, yeah.
And there's no hardly any lights on it.
Hardly any lights at all?
Hardly any lights at all and hardly any heating.
You're better off holding a candle out the window.
Exactly. But it was, I called it the Orange Lily.
That's the kind of a car you need a car coat for. Remember people used to have car coats?
Exactly, on your fur boots below the seat.
Yeah, people don't seem to realise that cars used to be very cold.
Oh, freezing. It was freezing, Gerry. I went to a wedding one day, my brother's wedding.
Yeah.
And it was in February.
Oh.
And I was on a lovely long dress and all, and a wee pair of sandals.
Uh-huh.
And my feet, I never felt anything as cold in my life. Freezing.
Well, where did you have this wee Volkswagen?
I had this wee Volkswagen in the 60s.
My God. If you had that now, it'd be worth a fortune, if it was in good condition.
I tell you, Gerry, if it could have spoke, it could have told many's a tale.
What have you got now? A Mercedes-Benz?
No, actually I live in the fold now and I don't have any car.
Oh, for God's sake.
But I had the Orange Lily, and then the Bluebird was a wee blue beetle.
A blue
and
beetle?
then I had the Silver Eel, was a wee silver beetle.
Was it all beetles you had?
It was no. I proceeded to Reynolds 16.
Oh, that's a big jump.
That was two of those.
And how did you fancy the Reynolds 16? Could you cope with them okay?
Oh, lovely, yes.
What was the heater like?
The wee hand, just lovely to drive.
Are you talking about the wee handbrake?
Yes. Just lovely to drive. But I just wanted to tell you about the wee Orange Lily.
You still think about that?
Oh, I always think about it, the good memories we had with the children and all in it. No seatbelt saying, just threw the whole 5 of them into the back and away.
That's right, yeah. I mean, I remember I used to have a 2CV, one of those Citroens, the wee kind of French cars.
Yes,
Deux chevaux, they called them.
Yes.
And the canvas roof, of course, you rolled that back.
Yes.
And, when you think about it, the things you used to do, and you never thought twice about it.
You thought nothing about it.
I'd be driving around there, and my 2 kids would be standing up in the back seat.
Honestly, my 5 would have been standing in the back seat.
No, but there'd be no roof on the car.
No, that's it.
And they'd be standing, holding onto the roof rack and shouting and roaring out. I never even looked at them.
Absolutely.
If you did that now, people
they were the good days, weren't they?
Be calling the police. If you get the arrest, and social workers be hammering on your door.
Oh, exactly.
The ways are going, faster, faster!
They were the good days, weren't they?
What was your last car? Do you remember?
My last car was, it was an older car, but the last car I remember well was the Reynolds 16.
Yeah, but you might be finished yet. You make it a lease of life yet and go out
No.
buy yourself a Jaguar XJ6.
No, I wouldn't bother now because I have my bus pass and the bus stops outside the door. I was away on Tuesday on the Antrim coast, the coaster.
Well, do you ever go as far as Dublin? I mean, you can go down there, can't you? You can go everywhere
we can
in the
anywhere.
south.
We go everywhere.
Well, you can get the Enterprise train as well.
The Enterprise train right up.
For God's sake.
Right up. It's great, like.
Of course, I'm far too young to take
You're
advantage.
too young, Gerry. You're far, far too young, love.
To take advantage of any of these opportunities.
Do you ever do that, remember you used to take the wee boat out with people on it?
Well, the wee boat, unfortunately, the wee boat that we used to take out is now defunct.
Oh, is it defunct?
It fell apart. But there was the only other time we ever went out in another boat, one time went down for a trip down to the lakes in Enniskillen.
Oh, lovely.
And we went along there in a little kind of, I don't know what you called it, a cruiser it was.
Yes.
Oh, it's great. I felt like Captain Ahab. There's a white in there, she blows. Captain.
Your cap and all on?
Oh, yes.
Your captain's cap?
I like wearing a cap because it conceals the wee baldy part.
No, you have no baldy patch.
I have.
Not at all.
But not for long.
But are you getting the hair sewed on?
Getting the hair sewed on is
Good for you.
It's not perhaps the expression that we use.
Is it not?
I don't know. I may consider some kind of.
Well, you should. You're very foolish if you don't, because you are a very good-looking man.
I am indeed. This is true.
This is true. And why not make the best of yourself?
But I was talking to a man the other day. As a matter of fact, I don't want to be too vain, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be giving too much away, but I might be doing a slight wee kind of investigation of some kind into all that kind of Botox and that kind of thing,
Well, I could be your first customer.
And I might be looking at kind of hair transplanty things,
No, well, my hair's all right. It's the rest of me's all away.
And if somebody said to me now, I have to be honest, if somebody said to me, well, would you like to see what it's like? I would say, work away. Work
Absolutely.
Away. Because,
Absolutely.
Once you have the wee window in the attic, it's not
You
good.
see, Gerry, you can afford it. That's the thing.
No, but you see, I'm trying to get it without paying for it.
Oh, well, like you always do.
I'm trying to get a wee bit of thatch on the top, you see.
Do.
Oh, yes. And what about you? Have you got a good head of hair, have you?
I've not too bad a head of hair now.
You're sticking it rightly.
No, I'm not too bad now. I have a right good head of hair.
All right, then. Next time
I'm
71? 71?
71.
You're only a youngster, for
I'm
God's
only
sake.
a pup.
Catch yourself on.
I'm only a pup. A pup.
You should be out on a jet ski.
Well, I was away at Newcastle yesterday, and I was away on the coaster on Tuesday.
So what would keep you sitting in the house? Oh, you go. Get out there.
Especially
Get
in a flat, like. But here, Gerry, I'll let you go.
Thank you.
And it's lovely speaking to you.
Lovely speaking to you.
Bye-bye, love.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. This is a band that will be playing live tomorrow. They're called John Edgar Vaux, and this is called The Conscript. But lots of...
Rockets tied to a tree. I'm gonna build a diamond and shine it at the sun. I'm gonna crack lightning just for fun. I'm gonna show the waves how to break. I'm gonna show the earth which direction to take. I'm gonna be the brightest flame you ever see. You're gonna feel the heat from my righteous beams. You're gonna call out for more. But first I gotta go and fight this war. The likes of me before. No, the world won't know what it's got in store. I'm gonna shift reason and season and time. You'll be the flower in my mind. We're gonna be the brightest flame you ever see. You're gonna feel the heat from our righteous beams. You're gonna call out for more. But first I gotta go and fight this war.
That's a great record. That's John Edgar Vaux, and that's a song called The Conscript, and that's from a CD, an EP, I don't know what you would call it, 4 tracks on it, called Western Notes. And they'll be playing live in the programme tomorrow, as will Kerry Quinn and Paddy McBride. Paddy McBride only just made some demos. I thought he's a great singer. And Kerry Quinn, of course, she's appearing in George Best's Dancing Shoes, which is starting this Thursday night in the Royal Opera House. But Kerry is also a singer. So Kerry and Paddy are coming in tomorrow, and then we'll have John Edgar Vaux, spoiled for choice. People sending me in text messages. Gerry, can you explain to me and your listeners how these ratings are made up that Nolan was crowing about? How do they know I'm tuned in to you right now? Well, you see, I'm going to post this off to them. Anybody who rings me, I ring them up and tell them, "So why listening? Look, there's his number. Go get him. Put him off." Also, other messages of now, I was talking to that wee woman there, that lovely wee woman earlier on, and it just suddenly occurred to me that as soon as I said hello, she said, "My favourite car." She started telling me immediately about my favourite car, which leads me to the conclusion that she probably thought she was talking to somebody else. I wondered, could you find out, Emma, if Frank Mitchell is doing some kind of a list programme on U105? But tell us all about your favourite car. Tell us all about your favourite car. She probably thought I was him. But you see, notice I didn't put her off her notion, and we talked away, and she was happy as Larry, and I enjoyed talking to her. Gerry, can you help me with a song? In the song, The Mountains of Mourne, did Mary reply to the letter? I'll ask Percy French when I meet him in heaven. Hi, Gerry. Please play some more of Moses' Quest every now and again. You uncover a little gem. Yeah, he is good, actually. Please play something by Derry Band Swanee River. Yeah, they're good. I haven't got anything by them. Joy, joy, it's Gascan Ruckus. They rock. They certainly do. Saw Gerry in Warren Point on Monday at 10:30. Turned on the radio, and there he was talking and walking along the seafront at the same time. What a wonderful thing to do. Stephen Nolan is the best thing on the radio. You just have to accept it. Why does that man listen if it's so bad? He listens like the same way as a mongoose stares into the eyes of a snake. He cannot go away. Please play Boys from the Abattoir by Wake and the Witch. It's the best ballad ever written. I never heard about that. Never heard of that. Boys from the Abattoir? What a romantic name for a band. By Waking the Witch. Oh, no, it's called Boys from the Abattoir. Waking the Witch is the name of the band, which is even worse. I'll look that up. I'll look it up. Now, gentleman writes to me and he said, just catching up in the last 2 days on the iPlayer. Yes, the Martin Bennett track, which I played the other day, called Harry's in Heaven, which was very unusual, is from the CD Hardland, Hardland. Martin Bennett, I think he died a couple of years ago in his early 30s, but he lived somewhere remote, somewhere on the Isle of Mull, I think it was. But he was very genius, a genius, I thought he was. It was released in 2000 on a label called Cuillin, Cuillin. There's also a website, martinbennett.com, martynbennett.com. And also, you were probably lucky that Choctaw Bingo refused to play. I was talking to James McMurtry, who's the singer, McMurtry, in Austin in I can't read today. I was talking to James McMurtry in Austin, Texas in the year 2004, and he told me that only one radio station ever played Choctaw Bingo since it had been released in 2002, probably due to the lyrics where he is talking about and I don't read that. Well, you see, I tried to play Choctaw Bingo one time, and I realised that a man says something very horrible on it. So I played it a couple of times. Tell him I played it, but I always tune out towards the end because I know when the bad stuff is coming. And he said, enough of this serious stuff. Let me talk to you about Sean Coyle. I must protest vehemently at your frivolous attitude to Mr. Coyle's affliction. Mr. Coyle is in hospital at the moment, having his wallet removed from his buttock, where it has lodged because of severe contact with it over the years and without any movement. So the skin has grown over it. An ingrown wallet, or as it is known, coilitis, is an extremely serious condition, especially for those in the immediate vicinity. Those of us unaffected by this malady cannot comprehend the sheer terror that parting with money evokes in these poor unfortunate people. This is what happens. They do not withdraw their wallet from their pocket, and the wallet becomes part of their body because it is never moved. And as I said before, the skin grows over it. The myriad of calculations involved in going for a drink with friends can bring them out in a cold sweat. For example, should they hold back and be last into the bar, or should they brazenly go first and order first, but then go directly to the loo? Even when to get a round in requires careful thought, buy too early, then they may have to buy again, buy too late, and they may have to pay for mixers as well. That's the chronic thing that people must avoid. Never pay for the mixers. However, the chronic coilitis sufferer will get around these problems by suggesting having a kitty. What do you, boys? Tell you what we'll do, boys. What is there? 5 of us now. Look, we'll have a kitty. Look, throw in a tenner each. Hey, what? Hey, what? In which case, they will have a brandy and Benedictine with a larger chaser. Brandy Benedictine, please, and just a straight large brandy there. And I'll tell you what, I'll have a liqueur as well. I'll have what do you call that? Sambuco. I'll have Sambuco. Although not contagious, people in the close vicinity to a coilitis patient will adopt the pathogenic demeanour of the illness, staring listlessly at the insipid contents of an almost empty glass, engrossed in some inane TV programme above the bar, or seeking the meaning of life on the back of a beer mat. See, this is what happens. There comes a time when you're in a bar and it's sure round, you see, and you've drunk your drink and there's nothing left. Sometimes you leave a little bit of this. And he was fair play to him. He took it like a man. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Gerry.
Yes, who's this?
My name is Michael. I was on earlier on the year. I don't really recall. I had a real bad smell in the house. You were keeping me going. My mother-in-law just passed away. And
that's right. Did you ever find out what it was?
Eventually, Gerry, it was a downpipe at the front of the house was blocked. And it was leaking, and the damp was getting into the brickweir timber frame.
Well, how did you discover that this was the origin of the smell?
My neighbour, believe it or not.
What did he come in and says, there's your bottle there, boy?
She says to me, Michael, the water's absolutely, I won't say the word she used, but it was pouring out of it, for want of a better word.
The water's flowing, peeing out of it?
Peeing out of it.
So what was your solution?
Well, just took it all apart, cleaned it, dried it, filled it with silicone, and the smell was gone.
Well, there's a song called that. No, the thrill is gone. The smell is gone.
Oh dear, here, I'm going to tell you, if only. Gerry, you see when I'm on with you?
Yes.
Would you mind doing a wee advert for our mini club show this weekend?
Of course, certainly, go ahead.
Well, we are the South Down Mini Owners Club, and we're based at...
Mini owners as in mini car?
The classic mini.
Yeah, okay.
And we are in our 8th year.
Yes.
And we're back in the Delamont Country Park. I don't know where you know it or not, do you?
No, where is it?
It's between Downpatrick and Killylea.
Okay.
Lovely, lovely spot. And we're there this Saturday, the 6th, sort of 5:30ish for a wee coastal run all around Torella and surrounding runs around there. Lovely wee roads, just for a bit of crack.
That'll be nice. Looks like the weather's going to be good this weekend.
Don't know, it's a wee bit iffy. And then we'll bring them all back and they get tea, sandwiches, buns and everything and bit of crack at them hunter. And then on the Sunday, from sort of 10:30, 11 on, back down at Delamont for a static show. And all money we'll raise after we'll take out our costs is going to the Mourne Mountain Rescue Team.
Oh, excellent. Did the people not say in the weather forecast that the weekend was going to be a little sunny? Did they not say that?
Gerry, I did the red button this morning, and my wife Sharon, she near choked at me because I turned around and I said, thunderbolts, bloody typical. Because on the red button it shows thunderbolts and lightning.
Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening.
Very frightening.
Right, so tell me, see the classic mini. So anyone's invited to come along, they don't have to...
We accept classic mini and, as they're known now, the fat mini, the BMW mini.
Do you know the one? Can I ask you something? Everywhere you go now, you see these wee cream kind of Mini Coopers with a black top.
Yep.
And every single one of them is driven by a good-looking girl.
Well, let me tell you something.
Have you noticed this?
Hold on, I have a wee silver one. And there's a quite good-looking girl sits in it quite often.
Is that your wife?
And my daughter in the back as well.
All right, okay. But everyone you look, do you know the cream ones and they've got a black top? And everyone, I always look at them because they're nice. Are they Mini Coopers?
Yeah, well, there can be Mini Coopers or Mini ones, but they're a lovely car, don't get me wrong. And I haven't a problem with them at all whatsoever. But can I tell you something? I'm 6 foot. And if I'm in the driver's seat, my son, who's 18, can sit behind me. But if I was in one of them, nobody could sit behind me.
Is that right?
So it just shows you, way back then, whenever they designed them, they knew what they were doing.
That's right, because I remember being in Minis at the time, and there was quite a lot of room. Well, once you get in, you were surprised by the amount of room was inside.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Well, our club, we're actually in the process of planning. We're going, hopefully, in 2 years' time to Italy, and the Minis from Northern Ireland.
Whereabouts in Italy are you going to go?
It's Lake Garda.
Lake Garda, yeah. Okay, that's nice.
It's every year they have a thing called the IMM. It's the International Mini Meet. Sort of thing you'd like, Gerry, because it's a bit like Glastonbury for Minis. It's not actually a show and shine or anything like that. It's all just a big social event, live music, food, drink.
Well, if it's in Italy, I'll go for it. I don't care what's on. It doesn't matter if it's a dog show.
You're more than welcome to we get you a job doing co-pilot, and then if we get lost, we know who to blame.
No, I'll just go with I won't even look at a car. Anyway, listen, the best of luck, Jen. I hope that's a good weekend.
I appreciate you letting me do that. And as I said, I meant to ring you a while back to tell you about the smell, but as I say, just for one thing and another. But thankfully, the smell is gone and fresh air has reappeared.
Thank you.
Gerry, listen, have a nice summer. Take it easy.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Cheers now. Bye.
Bye. The smell is gone. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Gerry. How you doing?
I'm all right, thanks.
Not too bad. Listen, I heard you mentioning Frank Mitchell earlier on about, I wonder, was he doing a wee programme knowing cars?
No, it's just a guess. Was that right?
Yeah. So to jump over and Tom the Valentine is indeed phone him with what you named your car down the years.
It's Pamela, is it?
Yes, she must have started in for me. I'll switch over here and see. And right enough, she's doing a whole show on what you called your car down the years.
Because your woman came on to me and she called her car Orange Lily. And
I heard that wee woman.
And I was afraid to say, well, why are you telling me this? And I suddenly realised that she probably thought I was Pamela Valentine.
All right, there you go. Pamela stole your thunder there, so
all right, so I was right then. I guessed right. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you. Bye. Here's Dermot O'Connor again. People really, really like this guy. And I must try and meet him and see what he's like. This is called I Fall in Love Too Easily. He's very talented. This is all his own songs, of course. I've never seen him doing any gigs or anything. I think he's one of those guys that sits at home and writes these nice songs and records them and then closes the door.
I fall in love too easily. Amazing beauty overpowers me. Just one look from you was all it took. You smiled and said hello, and I was hooked. I guess I wear my heart upon my sleeve, bruised and battered for the world to see. The moment that I disguise. I guess I fall in love too easily. I can feel my heartbeat when you're near me, bum, bum, bum. Only you can take away the rain. All I'll ever want is to be near you, bum, bum, bum. Tell me, darling, that you feel the same. I guess I fall in love too readily. I don't know what it is you do to me. I took you walking on a moonlit night. The stars were shining, I was hypnotized. I guess I wear my heart upon my sleeve, bruised and battered for the world to see. The moment that I looked into your eyes, my feelings for you I could not disguise. I guess I fall in love too hastily. When you're gone, I'm in misery. Yesterday I barely knew your name, and now my life may never be the same. I guess I fall in love too easily. Too easily. Too easily. I guess I fall in love too easily.
That's Dermot O'Connor again from his album called Gravity. And some messages here. Sean Doherty said, regarding your earlier difficulty concerning the Union Jack flag, no such concerns on the other side of the house. The tricolour is the tricolour, whether it's on Aris, on Nuctaron, or on the arse of a Celtic fan. Cheers. Beautifully put. Thank you for that. And a lady writes to me and she said, who is it, Leslie? She says, we used to head off on our holidays in my father's convertible in America with 2 adults, 3 children, 3 poodles and a cat. And nobody ever wore a seatbelt. In fact, I don't think there were any seatbelts in the car. How did we ever survive? I don't know how the people survived at all. Jordy, good morning.
Good morning, Gerry.
You don't drive, do you?
I did years ago.
Did you? When was the last time you drove a car?
Oh, about 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm. What made you stop? You couldn't...
I was, instead of turning corners, Gerry was going over the ditches. And
That's a good reason to stop. I think that's as good a reason as any. You just couldn't manage the corners.
No.
All right, then. It may have been something to do with alcohol consumption, would it have
I
been?
would say so.
Well, you're well off out of
Maybe
it then.
the enlightenment was... Duffy and Tuffy were making a record.
Sorry, what was that?
Duffy and Tuffy.
Duffy and Tuffy. Is this a joke?
No.
Duffy and Tuffy were making a record.
Yes, where has all the good times gone?
It's very cryptic. Why are you telling me this?
Well, how do you go about it to get your record out?
You want to make a record yourself?
Duffy and Tuffy.
Who's Duffy and Tuffy?
Ursula Duffy.
Ursula Duffy.
A small version of Dolly Parton.
Hold on a second. Ursula Duffy is a small version of Dolly Parton. Now,
Yes.
is there a person called Ursula Duffy? Have you just made this person up?
Yes, no.
Is this a friend of yours?
Aye.
Uh-huh.
She'll do the wiggling and I'll do the singing.
Oh, you're going to be a duo?
Ah.
What are you going to call yourselves?
Duffy and Tuffy.
You should have explained that to me at the start rather than make me kind of, dig in there to try and find a Duffy and Tuffy.
Ah.
Well, which one are you?
I'm Tuffy.
Mm-hmm. I should have guessed that, really.
And Ursula's Duffy.
Uh-huh. Well, where did you two meet, if I may be so bold?
Oh, many years ago.
Uh-huh. Well, have you ever performed in... Well, let me just rephrase that. Have you ever sang in public?
Oh, yes.
Have you? Where did you sing?
I sung all over the old Tinkers and Ballinasloe and...
Oh, the old horse fair at Ballinasloe.
Ah.
With the Tinkers with Pecker Dunn and...
That's right.
Ah. And, well, I've never heard you sing.
And I play the mouth organ too.
Well, I would have guessed it, but I don't think I've ever heard you sing. feel free to give us a bar or something if you want to. And what is that song you want to record with Ursula? What's it called again?
Where has all the good times gone?
I think you'll find it's called Where Have All the Good Times Gone, but let's not be a
right. Now, don't get picky.
No, but I mean, you have to get this thing right. I mean, if you put a song out called Where Has All the Good Times Gone, people may not take you seriously. It's like being able to, it's like spelling times wrong. You know, when you see that in a record, you see a word spelt wrong, you don't respect the person who is singing it. So, why don't you sing us a bit of that to see what the chances are that it might kind of...
I'll tell you what.
What?
When I was young, I had no sense. I bought a fiddle for 15 pence. But all the tunes that I could play was going over Dolly's brow.
Well, you know, that's not bad. You've got a certain timbre to your voice, if I may use the word. You've got a singing voice. You've got a good voice. You know, people who sing there, sometimes they don't have a voice, but you've got a nice, cutting, raspy voice, I'd say, honed by cigarettes and potching.
And potching and drink.
That voice has been well smoked. Well, I think you should go ahead. Have you approached someone to record this?
Yes, but then he was to come back to me.
Maybe Dolly's Bray wouldn't be a great one to do for the first record.
No.
Maybe perhaps something else, something a little, even. Where has all the good times gone?
Aye.
Where has all the good times gone? Long time.
Where is all the good times gone? Far, far away.
Well, I think Ursula. How does Ursula feel about this? Is she willing?
Oh yes, she does the wiggling and I do the singing.
Oh, she'll do the wiggling. Was she a willing partner, or is she tied up in your house somewhere? Listen, never mind this frivolity. There's someone with a serious question to ask you. Let me just find out who it is. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Gerry. How are you?
I'm all right. Who is this, I wonder?
This is Sheila here.
Sheila, you're through to Geordie. I don't know if he can hear you or not. Hello, Geordie, can you hear Sheila?
I can.
Okay.
How you doing, Geordie?
I can't turn the two up too loud because it starts to sing, much like Geordie's voice. What? Do you want to ask him something?
Yes, I want to know, would he know where you could get a water diviner?
A water diviner? I think maybe Geordie could do that himself.
There's one there, he lives outside a friend somewhere. On the top of the hill.
Right.
A man who speaks with a forked stick?
Aye.
Well, I mean, is that what he does? He uses a forked stick? Does he do that?
He can find water.
I know what a water diviner is, but do they still use the spiked stick, or do they use some kind of modern technology?
Yes.
Well, tell us more. Don't keep us in suspense. What does he do? Have you seen him operating?
There's a wee bog Sally with a fork on it, and he holds it in his hand.
A bog Sally with a fork on it? Do you know what that means, madam?
No, sir. And then when it hits water, it starts to vibrate.
Oh, right.
Indeed vibrate. Right, okay. Well, this man in Rathfriland?
Yes.
And what is this lady's name? Sorry, what's your name, love? What's this lady's name? Oh, she away? Where's she gone? Sorry, you scared her. Look, she's away.
Gerry, thank you for getting all my roosters.
No, she was cut off there, I'm sorry.
I was looking roosters.
And how many roosters do you have now?
I have 6.
That seems a lot.
Rodine Reds, Blackman Nortners, the Sussex.
Now, the most vital question is, I hope you're not going to tell me that you've only one hen.
No, I have 2 hens.
3 to 1.
But they don't boss them out hens.
Do they not?
No,
I wouldn't like to be a hen with 6 roosters looking in the window.
Now, I tell you, they put manners in the roosters.
Well, they need to keep their legs crossed, that's all I can say.
No, well, nothing strange for you.
Nothing strange at all. Listen, I'll tell you what, let me know when you do your demo. I'll be the first to play it.
Right, thank you.
Okay? God bless you, my son.
God bless you, my son.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. Did that woman go away, or was she cut off? I think she was cut off. She wouldn't have went away. She wasn't upset, really. Because you know the way I sometimes upset them. She didn't seem upset. Anyway, I hope she's not upset. Get her back and see if she's okay. This is Alison Krauss.
This old house is falling down around my ears. I'm drowning in a river of my tears. When all my will is gone, you hold me sway.
Oh, that's nice. That's Alison Krauss, Dimming of the Day. I'm not quite sure what that album is that that's from. Somebody asked me. I don't know. If you could Google it, you'd probably find out. Michelle writes to me and she said, for the first time, I finally went to watch the Gay Pride Parade last Saturday. My daughter and son went with me. My daughter texted all her friends asking them to join us. One of them asked who else was going. She listed everyone. When he heard that I was going, he said, I can't believe your ma's going. She replied, you don't know my ma. Anyway, we were dropped off at Custom House Square half an hour before the parade was to leave. We grabbed a couple of placards stating, love is a human right. My daughter then asked if we could leave immediately to meet others at the City Hall. I was scared to walk with my placard without being part of the parade in case I'd be lifted for breach of the peace. But we met a couple of lovely young fellas who had the same placards and they escorted us. When we reached the traffic lights outside the City Hall, I noticed a large group of protesters across the street. Suddenly a woman asked me, why are you standing there holding that sign right across the street from the protesters? I didn't like her tone. It smacked of accusing me of being a troublemaker. I glared at her and I said, I'm just trying to cross the road. That shut her up. At that point, the lights changed and we crossed the street and stood right beside the protesters. There's more of that coming up. Right, Kathleen McGarvey sends me a lovely little note and she sends me a bunch of newspaper clippings from 1992. Photographs of me in 1992. How ugly this is. And it's about a TV talk show that I did at the time. And then in the same post, but she didn't send this to me, comes a little talking book that she has recorded for, let me just see. It's available. Kathleen recorded the talking newspaper for the Ballymena Lions Club, and there's lots of her little stuff on it, and Kathleen's poems. And Kathleen is, of course, a great friend of this programme, so you can get that. And there's one about me. It's a dream. The dream is that I had a TV programme. Let's hear of Kathleen's dream.
I had a dream the other night. It gave me quite a thrill. Appearing on Gerry's TV show, I was top of the bill.
That's definitely a dream.
I sauntered down those magic stairs, my spangled dress aglow. A spotlight followed me around, a star on Gerry's show. Then I tried to play my banjo and I tried to sing my song, but nothing would go right for me and everything went wrong. I got into a panic and was ready for to scream. When I came to, I'm telling you, I was glad it was a dream.
It's a dream, all right. I found a TV show. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you. Well, thank you. Thanks for taking my call, Gerry.
Not at all. You've been the last today. Make the most of it.
That was a lovely song. Well, I'll tell you what it is. I'm going to ask you to think back maybe 60, 70 years. My sister, who is not well at the moment in England, used to recite a song about Kate. And Kate was a quiet, wee, timorous thing.
Yes.
And it went on about Kate being on her own in the cottage, and this fiddler came by, and he tucked his violin under his tilted chin, and tunes by the dozen did he begin. And time went by, and one of the other lines I remember was he came back to the cottage, and there stood Kate with the door thrown wide and a terrible clatter of children inside. Now, I would love to have it, to write it out for my sister.
That sounds like something by W.F. Marshall or somebody like that.
Does it?
Oh, it does.
I have never come across it, and she had no idea where she learnt it.
Oh, obviously an Ulster poem.
Yes.
Anything with a clatter in it, you know it's the Six Counties.
Yes.
So I would imagine somebody out there would almost tell us immediately.
Well, I would hope so.
If someone tells us, please, if you know, tell us before 12 o'clock, because you've only got 5 minutes to go. So if somebody rings, I'll announce it.
Well, yes, even your switchboard has my number. If anybody wanted to ring them, they could put them in touch with me, which I would greatly appreciate.
The door was open wide with a clatter of wains inside.
That's right.
All right, then we'll get that for you.
Terrible clatter of children inside.
Okay, see you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
It's at the break of noon, shadows even the silver spoon, the handmade blade, the child's balloon, eclipses both the sun and moon. To understand, you know too soon. There is no sense in trying.
This is a band called the Ducks, believe it or not.
Pointed threats they bluff with scorn. Suicide remarks are torn from the fool's gold mouthpiece. The hollow horn plays wasted words, proves to warn that he not busy being born is busy dying. Temptation's page flies out the door you follow. Find yourself at war. Rush waterfalls, a pity roar. You feel to moan, but unlike before, you discover that you just be one more person crying. So don't fear if you hear a foreign sound to your ear. It's alright, Mom. I'm only sighing.
That song, Dimming of the Day by Alison Krauss, was from an album called Paper Airplane. It's her new album. Thank you, Trevor William, for letting me know about that.
Victory, some downfall. Private reasons, great or small, can be seen in the eyes of those they call to make all that should be killed to crawl. While others say don't hate nothing at all except hatred. Disillusioned words like bullets spark. As human gods aim for their mark. Mean everything from toy guns and spark to flesh-colored plastic glow in the dark. It's easy to see without looking too far. Not much is really sacred. Oh, and though the rules of the road have been lost, it's only people's game that you have got to daunt. And it's alright, more I can make it.
That's Ducks, spelled D-U-H-K-S.
Teach the knowledge ways can lead to $100 plates. Goodness hides behind its gates, but even the president of the United States sometimes must have to stand naked. Advertising signs they con you into thinking you're the one. They can do what's never been done, can win what's never been won. Being taught life outside goes on all around you. Oh, although the masters make the rules for the wise men and the fools, I got nothing more to live up to.
That's a Bob Dylan song, of course. It's All Right, Ma, I'm Only Bleeding by the Ducks. We'll be back tomorrow with some very, very good live music. See you then. Goodbye.
You lose yourself, you reappear. You suddenly find you got nothing to fear. Alone you stand with nobody near. When a trembling, distant voice and clear startles your sleeping ears to hear that somebody thinks they really found you. A question in your nerves is lit. Yeah, you know there is no answer fit to satisfy. Try not to quit, to keep it in your mind.